UFC welterweight prospect Anthony Ivy. Thank you so much for coming on today. How's life right now for you?
It's good, man. Everything's going well, man. Just surviving this little COVID thing that's going around the whole world, man. But we're good. We're good.
Has it gotten better for you over there in Texas?
Yes. For as far as for my family and friends and the gym and the teammates, everything's good, man. Nobody's positive for it or anything like that. So we're doing good, man.
All right. I saw that you recently got a visit from USADA. Was that the first one?
Yes. No, that was actually my second one from after the fight. Yeah, that was my second visit.
Okay. Now, how is that, man? Like having to give your locations all the time to the USADA people and dealing with them.
Yeah, man, it's a little weird at first because they have to come. Like if I'm at home, I'm not like uncomfortable with it because it's like I get company all the time and everything. But at work, it's a little different because it's where I work at. It's a private facility, so it's kind of difficult. It's like, oh man, I gotta take a drug test, and all of my officers are looking at me like, what's going on? It's like, oh man, it's for my fights, but everything. But it's just explain that to them. They give you that look like, yeah, oh okay.
So weird, right? Because it's like a probation officer or something.
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh man, everybody's like, you in trouble or something? It's like, no, man, it's just something that we have to consistently do when they need to take you when you need to take the test. They need to come through. So yeah, it's pretty weird, man.
If you look at it, USADA is very similar to like what the Olympics do. So it almost makes you understand what Olympic athletes go through.
Yes, with that consistent, very consistent. So.
So that's good, man. It makes I guess USADA is doing a very good job in leveling out the playing field and all of that good stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right, now let's go back to your UFC debut, man. It was a roller coaster of 2 weeks because I talked to a few guys that made their debuts on a couple days notice, you know what I mean? And and they had to go through everything, man. They had to go through like the medicals, the physicals, and then they're cutting weight at the same time. But you had like a weird situation because you were gonna fight, then you didn't fight, and then they said, okay, you're gonna fight the next week or so. So explain that a hectic period of your career right there.
Man, dude, it was so. I'm used to people saying like, okay, you're gonna fight, and then you're not gonna fight, or you're gonna fight, and then you're not gonna fight. That wasn't the mental mess up. It was more like, okay, you're gonna fight at 185, and then mess around. It's like, oh, okay, you're not fighting. It's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And next, I'm coming back in the house, and then my wife is telling me like, yeah, so just talk to your manager. He said that you're gonna be fighting at 170. Wait, what? And so that was the hiccup because I'm not a small welterweight, man. I walk around like almost 200, 205. So I was literally when she called me, I was at 205. When I got the notice saying that I was gonna be fighting, I was walking around at 205, man. So that was probably one of the hardest weight cuts I ever had in my whole MMA career. Trying to get to 205 all the way down to 170 within maybe 5-6 days. And then still, like just like you said, with getting the medicals done and all the interviews and everything else, and just trying to stay focused on the fight, it was a little difficult, man. It was a test. So, but it happens, and we got out there, and I went out there, got caught, and that's all that happens, man.
Yeah, I guess you go through all of that. Now you're ready for anything. You know what I mean? Nothing is gonna be worse than that, right?
No, there's not. No, man. Unless I don't know, you get injured in the fight camp and you can't fight or something. Yeah. I think that's probably the worst thing that can happen. But other than that, man, is just the weight cut alone, bro. Is like that. Not a lot of people go through that. They have about 4 or 5 weeks just to cut the weight. I had like 6-7 days. It's like, oh, okay, this is gonna be tough. So, but we got it done, man. We got it done.
Yeah, man. Now, did you feel any octagon jitters before the fight?
No, man. I felt like it was just another fight, man. That's all it was. It was just, I guess my reaction time, I was a little bit slower than I usually was. I'll say that. That's the only thing that changed for that fight for me as far as anything else. My reaction time was really slow. Like I started off very, very slow. Usually I'm, gunning for whatever I got to do. If it's striking or if it's going for the takedowns or anything else like that, I'm just going. But at that time, I was just, it was like almost I was damn near almost froze in that fight. So I don't think it was just jitters. It was just from the weight cut and not thinking about fighting and everything else like that. Because you got to think we was quarantined for I think 3 to 4 months before we'd even know about anything about fighting. I didn't assume I was gonna be fighting until like next year sometime. And especially not for the UFC. I think it's gonna be for these for the lower cards, for like Fury UFC and everything, or I was gonna defend my belt again. And I swear I thought I was gonna be doing that next year, and then I get this call and it's like, oh crap, like this is why one of the things that all these high level guys say, that you have to stay ready, man. You have to stay ready. If you don't stay ready, shit like that happens to you. So
Yeah, lesson learned. Now, the fight, do you put it in the rearview mirror and move forward, or do you let it motivate you?
Oh yeah, both. We put it in the rearview mirror, let it go forward, and then also it's a motivation to don't be lazy. Just don't be lazy. Don't think it's over. Don't wait. Always strive to be just to be ready. It always have to be. Even though if it's just quarantine or you're just training in the garage or anything else like that, always strive to be ready, man. Because it's like I said, shit like that happens, man. You get caught, and next it's like, yeah, I wasn't ready at all, man. So.
Well, speaking of being ready, man, they've come back at you with a much bigger name in Bryan Barberena. When you saw that on the contract, when your manager or whoever deals with the UFC told you his name, what was your initial thoughts?
The fact that he has a big name, and I feel like this is gonna be more of my debut fight than my last one. This time I actually can go out there and prove myself that I am worthy to be in the UFC, that I am that high level caliber fighter. I can actually go show my ass off as the best as I possibly can, instead of just cutting the weight and just trying my best. This time we actually had a camp and everything else. So, when he said his name, it's like, no, I can't just back off because, he has a good name and everything else. And, he's been in the UFC for 2-3 years. I can't do that. We're all here to fight. And I have to show the UFC that I'm ready for anything. I will take anything that comes right in front of me. I will take the fight. It's like, let's go, let's do it. So that's all to it, man.
Yeah, I think the UFC's watching everything that's going on with their fighters, and they know what situation you were in. So in a way, they're kind of rewarding you with this fight.
Yes. It feels that way, but we're not gonna take it for granted. Yeah. We'll go out there and act like he's gonna be. This is the next step for us. This next stepping stone. You got to go out there and work. So we're not taking this guy lightly. We're not taking anybody lightly for now and on, man. So, my training camp, dude, is I fixed the little things. I started training a little bit more early in the mornings and also at nighttime, but more of a spread out in order to get to work more technique and everything else for it. So
what is usually your approach to preparing for an opponent, getting ready for an opponent? Are you watching film constantly? Are you following them on social media to figure out like what they're doing? Like what is what are you doing?
So the first few weeks of the camp, we mentally prepare for it. We figure out the game plan. We figure out his weakness. What's he mainly throws? What's he like to do? What's his weakness? What's his strengths? All that. Who's his training partners? Who's his coaches? We figure all that out. We all put it down into the camp, and then we go from there. And I study film like crazy, but I try not to overdo it. I only do it when I'm not doing much. If I'm not training and working on myself, okay, I have time to sit back and I go back and review to make sure it's all stuck in head. So you don't go in there second guessing something that you should have looked in before. So it's just like if you was like in a football game, you go over there, you look over what their favorite plays are and everything else like that. So, yeah, man, that's mainly what we do. And then of course, later during the camp, you bring your intensity up. You tell your training partners to, okay, this is what this guy does. This is what you're gonna do. This is how we're gonna fix it. And then boom, that's how we work it. So.
Without getting into too much detail, where do you feel like you excel, heading into this fight against Bryan Barberena?
That's a good one. I think I'm 100% in the later rounds that because usually when he's fighting, he gets gassed out in the later rounds. Everybody knows that. I think he knows that as well. But he gasses out in the later rounds, and I think that's where we're gonna overbeat him at.
All right. So you mentioned that you kind of split up the training, like early morning, later at night, and what have been the benefits for you with that?
My fatigue. So it's not like I'm it's not like I'm doing strength and conditioning and with Melissa. It's not like we're doing strength conditioning and then I have to go straight into doing, drilling work with striking, and right after the back of that, I'm going right into no gi or gi, So it's not all bunched up at once. It she was very smart and thought about it. Like, okay, let's take away strength conditioning at nighttime and throw it in the morning in order for you to rest, in order for you to be more prepared for it during the nighttime. That's where you can work most of your, your striking, your wrestling, your jits, and everything else for there.
So in the past, you felt that was detrimental to probably your performance going into fights?
Yeah, probably not so much as my performance towards the fighting. It's just more of what the goal is to give me to get better every day instead of just always just hanging there and like, okay, well, this is just good for today. We're always trying to strive to be just trying to push the limits at every day as possible. So
I know you're into gaming, deep into it, and is that something
yes.
that you continue doing throughout the camp?
Yes, yeah, it helps me stay focused. It really does. Especially when the weight cut. Some people sit back and they try to watch TV and everything, but I can't do that, man. It's like people have they triggers when they want to eat and drink and everything else. So like one of those things, if I sit back and if I chill with the wife, with the kid, and I'm sitting back, just enjoying the movie and everything, like I get hungry, I want to go have a beer or whatever it is that you want to do, get in that relax mode. And I can't do it. So the gaming, I usually don't do that when I'm gaming and everything. So I'm consistently on that, and it keeps me focused for a few hours, and then I usually go lay down and get prepared for the next morning. So
yeah, watching TV is probably the worst thing you can do because those commercials come on and everything just looks.
Oh, right. all the good stuff too, man. So it's funny.
Yeah, I was talking to someone else about it. They said like every time you're at camp, it seems like those restaurants always have these deals when you can't eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have little 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s, and all that.
and it's like, whoa, where's all this when I'm not in camp?
Yeah.
So that's they have this thing on. I know it's on Facebook and YouTube. It's called Tasty, whatever. Yeah, you know what it is, right? Where they show you like recipes for like cooking and everything. Bro, every time I cut weight, me and my twin brother, we have a bad habit of we stare at that like literally for hours. I will look at that like, damn, that looks like a good idea. It looks like I can make that. I can make that. Dang well, I can't cook it, man. That's all up to my wife and everything. But bro, it's funny. It's really funny because you just sitting back thinking like, oh yeah, you know what? I can make that. I can do that. I can cook that up. I make me scrabble up some deals, and as soon as you eat and drink and you fight and everything else, you don't even think about none of that. You just go home and just chill. So it's pretty funny.
The mind. That's why if you look at fighters, man, you guys mentally are so strong to not eat. That's the biggest, like battle right there. I think out of anything is just keeping that weight down and not eating, unhealthy. Yeah. So, and like, are there any rituals like do you have during training camp that you always like you need to do this?
Yes. So, I'm always man. One of these, I get my haircut is one of them. There's type of music that I play throughout the camp. I always play my walkout song. So whatever walkout song that I pick, I constantly play it before and after training, just to get that mental aspect. Like, so it's just I'm not unfamiliar with it. I think that's mainly it as far as my rituals. Yeah, just the haircut, the music playing. Me, of course, playing the game. Make sure I stay on it to keep me not so my mind doesn't wander off. It just stays in one spot and that's it. Other than that, man, that's pretty much it, dude.
All right, man. So how do you see your first UFC win playing out?
Oh man, multiple ways, dude. It's either knocking this dude out, submitting him any way. It's just I have to go finish this guy. I have to. There's no doubt about it, man. So. That's how the way he plays, but I'm not like I said before, man. We're not dumb to the game. We know this guy's tough. We know this guy's really hard to be finished or to be knocked out, to be submitted as far as his previous fights. But that's what we're fighting for. We're always going out there just to prove people wrong, or just go out there and strive and just to prove the other fighter wrong, like what we can really do. So, yeah.
All right, man. September 12th, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. You're back there. We spoke a couple months back before you signed with the UFC, And man, I'm very happy for you, man, that you're in the UFC now, and every interview that I do with you is gonna be as a UFC fighter, man. That's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you get your first one, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP Post Fight for all your weekly martial arts news.